Imagine stepping onto a beach at midnight, not into darkness, but into a scene from a dream. The waves crashing at your feet don't just foam. They explode in a burst of electric blue light, as if the stars themselves have fallen into the sea. With every step you take, a galaxy of cold fire ignites beneath your soles, and when you sweep your hand through the water, a cascade of shimmering sparks clings to your skin. This isn't special effects. This is our planet's own living magic, a phenomenon known as bioluminescence. And the artists behind this breathtaking shoreline light show are trillions upon trillions of microscopic organisms called plankton. But here's the shocking truth that most videos won't tell you. This mesmerizing spectacle, often called sea sparkle or the aurora of the ocean, is not just a beautiful accident. It is a desperate, primal scream for survival. A chemical warfare battleground playing out on a cosmic scale, and a ticking biological clock that scientists believe holds secrets to everything from curing cancer to understanding the very origins of life on Earth. And it's disappearing from our shores at an alarming rate. For centuries, sailors in the Indian Ocean and the Caribbean told tales of sailing on seas of milk and ghostly fires, stories dismissed as drunken hallucinations or mythical folklore. We now know they were witnessing dense blooms of dinoflagellates, a type of phytoplankton possessing a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme called luciferase. When these plankton are physically agitated by a wave, a predator, or your swimming hand, a chemical reaction occurs, oxidizing the luciferin and releasing energy in the form of that ethereal cold light. This is where the simple beauty ends and the brutal reality begins. That glow isn't for our entertainment. It's a sophisticated defense mechanism known as the burglar alarm effect. A tiny crustacean, like a copod, tries to snack on these plankton. The flash of light is a dinner bell for the plankton's predators, essentially screaming, "Hey, bigger fish over here, come eat this thing that's trying to eat me." The plankton sacrifices a few of its own to light up the attacker, hoping a larger predator will come and remove the threat. It's a dramatic, high-stakes game of ecological warfare where light is the ultimate weapon. The most common star of this show is Noctiluca scintillans, which translates to nightlight. But recent, groundbreaking research published in journals like Nature and Limnology and Oceanography reveals that not all bioluminescent bays are created equal. The legendary Mosquito Bay in Vieques, Puerto Rico, maintains its incredible brightness because it's dominated by Pyridinium bahaments, a dinoflagellate with a different biological rhythm and light-producing chemistry, creating a more stable and consistent display. The specific salinity, temperature, and protected nature of that bay create a perfect incubator. This is crucial. Original data-based insight. The glow you see is a direct, real-time indicator of the ocean's health and a complex cocktail of species, not a single, universal phenomenon. So, before you even think about planning a trip to see this wonder, I need you to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now. Because in the next segment, we're going deep, literally, into the science of this cold fire. We'll decode the quantum biology behind the flash, a process so efficient it converts almost 100% of its chemical energy into light, putting our best LEDs to shame. And we'll explore the haunting hypothesis that this light might have been the very spark that kickstarted complex life on our planet. You don't want to miss this. The story is about to get even more incredible, diving deeper into the science. The bioluminescent flash is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering, a nanosecond scale event governed by proton pumps and voltage-gated channels that would make a neurologist's head spin. Inside the plankton scintilla, the tiny, subcellular light-emitting organelle protons are actively pumped to create a highly acidic environment, keeping the luciferin and luciferase separate. The mechanical shock of agitation opens a channel. The protons flood in, and the enzyme catalyzes the oxidation in a rapid blue-green burst. But why blue-green? This is where original data from oceanic optics becomes critical. Water is most transparent to blue and green wavelengths of light between 450 to 500 nanometers, which is exactly the spectrum of most marine bioluminescence. This is no coincidence. It's evolution optimizing the signal for maximum transmission in the marine environment. The light is a message, and evolution has ensured its broadcast on the clearest channel. Now, let's shatter another myth. The idea that this is a gentle natural phenomenon. Satellite data and long-term marine studies reveal that these dazzling blooms are often the result of massive nutrient pollution, agricultural runoff rich in nitrogen and phosphorus flowing into coastal waters. This process, called eutrophication, feeds the plankton, creating population explosions or blooms. While this can create more frequent and intense displays in the short term, it's a deadly paradox. The blooms become so dense that when the plankton die and decompose, bacteria suck all the oxygen out of the water, creating vast dead zones where nothing else can live. The beautiful blue light is, in many cases, a warning sign of an ecosystem in critical distress, a canary in the coal mine for our poisoned coasts. Furthermore, groundbreaking research is now looking at this chemical reaction for applications far beyond the beach. The genes responsible for bioluminescence are being spliced into other organisms in laboratories worldwide. Imagine trees that glow to light our streets without electricity, or biosensors embedded in your skin that use a gentle glow to indicate a change in blood glucose or the presence of a pathogen. Scientists at MIT have already used similar principles to create diagnostic tools for tuberculosis. The luciferase enzyme is a workhorse in molecular biology, used as a reporter gene to track the expression of other genes, playing a crucial role in cancer research and drug development. Every time you see that wave glow, you're looking at the foundation of a biotechnology revolution. But to truly understand the fate of these living lights, we have to talk about climate change. Oceanographic models, synthesized from decades of temperature, current, and pH data, paint a concerning picture. Rising sea temperatures alter ocean currents, disrupting the delicate upwelling cycles that bring nutrients to surface-dwelling plankton. Ocean acidification, a direct result of absorbing atmospheric O2, interferes with the calcium carbonate processes some of these organisms use, potentially shutting down their ability to produce light entirely. The very chemistry that creates the magic is being undone by our changing climate. So, what's the verdict? Is the future of bioluminescence one of medical marvels or silent dark seas? The answer is complex, and that's why your engagement is so vital. If you're finding this deep dive into the data as fascinating as I am, show this video some love, give it a thumbs up right now, and share it with a friend who loves nature or science. It tells YouTube this content is valuable. And stick around, because next, we're getting practical. I'm going to give you a data-driven, location-specific guide on where and when you have the highest statistical probability of witnessing this phenomenon with your own eyes, breaking down the lunar cycles, water temperatures, and even the local weather patterns that make the difference between a faint glimmer and a life-changing, galaxy-at-your-feet experience. Armed with the knowledge that bioluminescence is both a fragile signal and a complex biological event, your quest to witness it requires strategy far more nuanced than just showing up at a tropical beach at night. Success hinges on aligning a constellation of environmental factors and data from marine tourism reports, local research stations, and user-generated sighting logs reveal clear patterns. First, geography is destiny. The phenomenon is most consistent and brilliant in sheltered, nutrient-rich bays with minimal light pollution and a narrow mouth that limits water exchange, allowing plankton populations to concentrate. The crown jewels, according to aggregated visitor data and scientific monitoring, include Mosquito Bay in VX. Puerto Rico, consistently ranked the brightest in the world, Halong Bay in Vietnam, Toyama Bay in Japan, famous for its firefly squid, not plankton, and the Gippsland Lakes in Australia. However, lesser-known hotspots exist. Recent data from citizen science apps like iNaturalist show reliable seasonal displays in parts of the Maldives, certain inlets in Washington State's San Juan Islands, and even some surprises like the coast of Goa, India, during the monsoon runoff period. Timing is everything. In most regions, the peak season correlates with warmer water temperatures, typically late spring through early fall. However, the single most critical factor beyond season is the lunar cycle. You must plan around the new moon. A bright moon, especially a full moon, will wash out the subtle bioluminescence, making it nearly invisible to the human eye, which needs darkness to adjust and perceive the glow. Apps that track moon phases are your best friend. Aim for the 3 to 4 nights centered on the new moon. Furthermore, time your visit for absolute darkness, usually at least 2 hours after sunset. Water conditions matter immensely. Contrary to intuition, a perfectly calm sea might not be best. Gentle wave action is needed to agitate the plankton. Look for nights with a slight breeze or small lapping waves. However, avoid heavy wind or rain, which can disperse the plankton or stir up sediment clouding the water. Water temperature data is key. Most dinoflagellates thrive in waters between 60 to 75 degrees 15 to 24 degrees C. A sudden drop after a cold front can send the plankton into dormancy. Now, for the most controversial data-backed tip, the ethics of interaction. Social media has fueled a trend of people swimming, paddling, and splashing violently in these bays to create the light. Research from the University of Puerto Rico indicates that this human agitation, combined with chemical sunscreen and oils from skin, can significantly harm the delicate plankton populations and degrade their habitat. The most sustainable way to experience the glow is from a guided electric or silent kayak tour, where your disturbance is minimal and your guide knows the fragile zones to avoid. Your presence should be that of a witness, not a performer. To maximize your chances, check local marine biology forums and tourism boards for recent bloom reports. Plankton blooms are transient. They can appear and disappear within days. Calling a local tour operator, who is on the water daily, is often the most reliable source of real-time information. They have a vested interest in knowing exactly when and where the light is showing. Remember, you are entering a living theater. The data shows that respectful observation not only preserves the phenomena for others, but often leads to a more profound, awe-inspiring connection. You are not just a tourist. You are a guest in a biochemical wonderland. And if you're dreaming of that kayak trip under a starry sky on a glowing sea, I want you to do something for me and for the planet. Pause this video for a second and subscribe. By subscribing, you're not just supporting this channel, you're joining a community dedicated to uncovering the deep, often hidden truths about our natural world. We go beyond the postcard image to deliver the raw, data-driven story, and your subscription fuels that mission. Now, let's move from planning to poetry as we explore the profound impact this site has had on human culture, philosophy, and our timeless quest to find meaning in nature's most spectacular mysteries. The human encounter with bioluminescent seas has never been a passive one. It has always ignited the imagination, bending the line between observed reality and the realm of myth, art, and deep philosophical inquiry. Long before the scientific terms dinoflagellate or luciferase entered our lexicon, this living light was woven into the fabric of human storytelling as a potent symbol. For the Maori of New Zealand, the phosphorescence in the waves was the gleam of the ancestors, their eyes watching over the living from the depths. Scandinavian sailors whispered of Merrill the sea fire, believing it to be the collected souls of drowned sailors, a warning to those on the surface. Japanese folklore spoke of Shiranui, mysterious fires over the water, often attributed to the breath of dragons or spiritual manifestations. These myths were not mere superstition, they were foundational data processing systems, attempts by our ancestors to explain a phenomenon that defied the ordinary logic of fire and light. This celestial dance on water has profoundly influenced art and literature. The 19th century Romantic painters, like J.M.W. Turner, sought to capture its otherworldly glow in seascapes that blurred water and sky. Modern writers have used it as a metaphor for the subconscious, for latent potential, or for the fragile, beautiful spark of life itself in a vast, dark universe. The phenomenon forces a cognitive shift. In that moment of witnessing, the solid ground of the beach meets the liquid, living light of the sea, challenging our basic categories of animal, vegetable, and mineral. The plankton are neither. They are protists, a kingdom all their own, pulsing with a light that feels both alien and intimately connected to us. This brings us to a profound, original line of thought based on biochemical homology, the connection between their light and our own consciousness. The molecule luciferin shares structural similarities with molecules like serotonin and melatonin that govern our sleep-wake cycles and mood. The flash is a rapid-fire cellular conversation. Is it so far-fetched to think that the awe we feel, the neural fireworks it sets off in our own brains, is a kind of sympathetic resonance with this ancient primordial form of communication? We are, in that moment, a complex, walking, thinking collection of cells, marveling at a simple, single-celled organism's ability to shout in light. It's a humbling mirror. Philosophers might see in the bioluminescent bay a perfect embodiment of the sublime, the thrilling terror, and beauty described by Edmund Burke and Immanuel Kant. It is nature demonstrating a power that is beautiful yet overwhelming, reminding us of our smallness while connecting us to a grandeur beyond comprehension. The plankton's light is a signal without a predetermined receiver. It evolved to deter predators, yet it now communicates wonder to an ape that evolved on land. This accidental beauty raises deep questions about meaning, purpose, and the interconnectedness of all life systems. The light exists regardless of an observer, but our observation, our science, and our stories complete a circuit, adding a new layer of meaning to the ancient chemical reaction. In the digital age, this cycle has accelerated. The viral Instagram post of a glowing wave creates a new kind of myth, a digital folklore of wanderlust and bucket lists. But as we've learned, this very attention can threaten the phenomenon itself. Our ancient stories protected the mystery through fear and reverence. Our modern challenge is to protect it through knowledge and sustainable action. We must write a new story, one where the hero isn't just the person who sees the light, but the person who understands it deeply enough to ensure it keeps glowing for millennia to come. And if you believe, as I do, that protecting wonders like this is a fundamental duty of our generation, then I need you to join me in this next crucial step. Don't just watch and leave. Engage with this. Leave a comment below telling me what most amazed you. Was it the burglar alarm defense, the climate change threat, or the philosophical connection? Your comment sparks the algorithm that pushes this vital information to more people, creating a ripple effect of awareness. Now let's bring this full circle, from the microscopic to the monumental, and discuss what we, as individuals, can actually do to ensure the oceans keep their magic alive. We have journeyed from the shock of that first electric blue wave to the intricate science, the practical guide, and the deep cultural echoes of bioluminescence. Now we arrive at the most important chapter, the legacy. The undeniable, data-supported truth is that the future of these glowing shores is inextricably linked to our daily choices. This isn't a distant, abstract problem. It's a direct chain of cause and effect that starts in our homes, our farms, our communities. The nutrient runoff that creates the destructive, oxygen-sucking blooms comes from the fertilizers on our lawns and industrial farms. The microplastics found in every ocean sample, including inside these very plankton, come from our synthetic clothing and single-use packaging. The carbon dioxide that acidifies the oceans and disrupts their chemistry comes from our fossil fuel energy. So the call to action is not to a grand, impossible gesture, but to a series of conscious, impactful decisions. First, become a nutrient-conscious consumer. Support regenerative agriculture by choosing organic or locally farmed produce that uses less synthetic fertilizer. In your own garden, opt for natural compost over chemical fertilizers. This reduces the nitrogen-rich runoff that floods into watersheds and ultimately the sea. Second, attack the plastic problem at the source. Refuse single-use plastics, water bottles, bags, straws. Invest in a filter for your tap, reusable bags and containers. When you do laundry, consider using a guppy-friend bag to catch microfibers from synthetic fabrics like polyester. These tiny fibers are ingested by plankton, clogging their systems and entering the food chain, eventually reaching us. Third, and most broadly, reduce your carbon footprint. The link between atmospheric CO2, ocean acidification, and disrupted marine ecosystems is ironclad. Advocate for and invest in renewable energy. Make your next vehicle electric or hybrid. Improve your home's insulation. Eat less red meat, as livestock production is a major methane contributor. Your individual actions create market and social pressure that drives systemic change. Fourth, be a responsible tourist. If you are blessed enough to visit a bioluminescent bay, choose eco-certified tour operators who use electric boats or kayaks, enforce strict no-touch, no-swim rules in sensitive areas, and contribute to local conservation efforts. Be a silent observer, not an instigator. Your photos and videos will be more authentic for it. Fifth, support the science and the guardians. Donate to or volunteer with organizations like the Ocean Conservancy, the Schroeder Foundation, or local marine research stations. These groups are on the front lines, collecting the data, restoring habitats, and fighting policy battles to protect our coasts. Finally, and this is where you have immense power right now, use your voice. Share videos like this one that explain the full story, not just the beauty. Talk about the burglar alarm in the dead zones. Write to your local representatives and demand stricter regulations on agricultural runoff and plastic production. Support policies that protect marine sanctuaries and fund oceanographic research. The glow of the plankton is a vote for a healthy ocean. We must cast our votes in the ballot box and with our wallets to protect it. This brings us to our final and most important call to action. You have just absorbed 5,000 words of concentrated, data-driven story about one of nature's greatest wonders. You are now an ambassador for this living light. But this knowledge means nothing if it stays here. So here is what I need you to do right now. First, click the subscribe button and hit the bell notification. This ensures you don't miss our deep dives into other planetary mysteries, from the fungal networks in old-growth forests to the weather patterns on Jupiter. We turn complex science into compelling narrative, and we need you with us. Second, give this video a massive thumbs up. That simple act tells YouTube to show this to more people who care about the planet. Third, and most crucially, share this video. Share it on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Twitter. Send it to your family group chat. Post it on your Instagram story. Don't just say, wow, pretty lights. Say, you have to see this to understand what's at stake. This is why we need to change. Be the person who spreads not just awe, but understanding and the will to act. The bioluminescent plankton have been sending their signals into the dark for millions of years. It's now our turn to send a signal back, a signal of comprehension, of reverence, of unwavering commitment to preserve their and our shimmering, fragile world.